AskReddit. GameStop employees of Reddit, what are some of your horror stories? 4 come to mind. A woman comes in to trade in an old Xbox 360 in a box. I open the box and the smell hits me. Rat droppings, grime, cockroaches and all have spent time in this thing. Luckily my manager noticed and we were able to decline the trade. Spent 5 minutes disinfecting the counter before I helped the next customer. One time I was trading in a PS4 I think. We were chatting while I was wiping his hard drive and commenting on all his achievements. Sometime during this conversation he got nostalgic and changed his mind, but not before I had already deleted all his data. Felt terrible. One homeless looking guy comes in during one of the few times I'm alone in the store. He was dragging around a trash bag, and I was doing my best to keep him in eyesight as he was all kinds of sketchy. He managed to stuff an Xbox 360 in the bag and walk out, but I ran out and asked him to give it back, which he did, saying please don't call the cops. I did. The last one kinda shook me. This woman comes in with a gaggle of kids, maybe 4. They were all terrors, running around to different parts of the store, yelling, grabbing things and rearranging them, seemingly causing distractions, while this woman tried on 3 separate occasions to get behind the counter. They end up buying something, but then I notice under this big box the oldest kid has picked up. He'd stuffed his hands full of the little DS games that were on the go back section on the counter. There was more here, but I've lost some of the details, but it really gave me the impression this was all coordinated by their mother. It's one thing to see adults steal, to see kids who are encouraged to do so, just terribly sad. I was an assistant manager when one of the Madden games came out. 04, maybe. We were doing a big midnight opening for it and everybody was having a great time waiting for the game, which we were picking up from another store about 30 miles away, around 11. After people had been waiting for 2 hours after the mall closed, I got a phone call. The game wasn't coming. I almost broke down, sitting behind the register, dreading the thought of telling everybody that they just wasted their time. To make matters worse, another store within walking distance of us got their games. I just wanted to die that night. I'm so grateful that our customers took it well and didn't get too angry. Had a couple come in to return a Sesame Street video game and a controller. They had a receipt from over a year ago. The game was scratched to hell and the controller was full of dried soda. They said it didn't work anymore. Shocker, and were furious when I wouldn't give them their money back, like standing there screaming at me. I was the manager, so I had no one else there to back me up. It was crazy. Their kid was bawling. The lady was swearing like a syphilitic sailor and the husband couldn't finish a sentence. Pretty sure they were both super high too. So that was fun. When the PS2 came out I was assistant manager and my manager would sell them out of the back room at a markup. Such a snake. I took the demo Xbox home with a copy of Halo before the system launched one night and had a 4-player all-night party. One of our other local stores had someone dig through the outside wall and steal everything out of their back room. Friend of mine got fired for lifting things. He would throw them in the trash and take the trash out. After the store was closed, he would come back, pull the stuff out the dumpster, and take it home. Got caught over a PS2. One time a woman screamed at me because her kid was tearing open a toy before paying for it, and I kindly told him to wait a little bit. She seemed on the fence on whether she wanted to buy the toy or not for her kid, so you know I wasn't glad that her kid was already ripping it open. She then proceeded to scream at me for being really awful with kids, a horrible person, bad at my job, etc. Also she wanted to complain to the manager if I ever talked to her kid like that again. She then angrily paid and walked of the store. Also people tinkering/modding their console and then trying to return it because it doesn't work anymore and angrily insisting on having it bought that way in GameStop. Oh my god, the people who broke their consoles trying to mod. I had one woman start throwing stuff at me when I refused to take her return. She also called 911 because she believed the police would make me take it back. It did get a cop out there, but he cited her for misuse of emergency services. Worked part-time at GameStop while I was in college. The best story I love to tell is a mom and son story. 40-ish mom and 7 to 10-ish boy come into the store, in a large strip mall with lots of stores, don't even look at merchandise, come up to the counter, and ask to let the kid use the bathroom. Clarified she's not there to buy anything but has spent thousands of dollars in our store previously. We politely tell her we can't let customers use our bathroom because it's in the back of the store with lots of high-priced merchandise. That's the policy. We have cameras and corporate reviews the footage. Another story I have, where I was wrongfully terminated, substantiates that one. Additionally, what we don't tell her is that all the used game consoles that people sell back to us were stored in the bathroom. There was 1 month prior to Christmas I had to do some impressive yoga to get to the toilet. I'm sure those consoles were a hazmat, but I digress. But, not to be unsympathetic to this kid's plight, we tell the mom that the pizza place next door lets people use their bathroom if they buy something, and the cheapest thing is a $1 soda/bottle of water. She starts flipping out on us and spewing expletives, telling us she's paid our salaries 10 times over, and that we are going to hell, yada yada yada. Then, no joke, tells her son to just go. Kid actually unzips and pees all over the carpet in front of my register. Then they left. I've never been so grossed out and dumbfounded. Had to close up for the day and half the next day, while GameStop paid to have our carpets sanitized. Resulted in a loss of pay for the weekend. Wonder what happened to that kid. He's gotta be in his 20s by now. TLDR. Mom let her fully potty trained son urinate on the carpet in front of the registers when we didn't allow him to use the employee bathroom in our store when there was a perfectly good bathroom for him to use in the pizza restaurant next door. Former employee. 2 wonderful stories. Older lady brings us in a bag. She looks like an addict and she wants to sell her weed. I put my hand in the bag and it's soaking wet. Cat pee. She was furious I wouldn't take it. From that day forward, made every customer take all trades out of bags themselves. My first store was long, and I had a kid and mom in back. Mom wasn't paying attention at all. 8-year-old walking around. Gets really quiet. Then mom rushes the kid out of the store. Go back there, and he took a crap on the floor. Watch the tape. Mom finds him squatting. Lets him finish, then takes him out. A gentleman comes in to buy one of our old 360 bundles, used, the old system, that required the HD. He brings it back a few days later and complains that it doesn't work. We start our normal troubleshooting methods in store. We couldn't figure anything out. So I do a swap, take his old system in as defective, then sell him a replacement bundle. I go through and try to wipe the system so we can ship it back to the warehouse. Cockroaches start crawling out of the system instead. I freak out. Throw the system in one of our giant shopping bags. Throw that in a box. Tape it shut and throw that in another bag. My manager tells me to just shrink it out, meaning we take the loss and destroy it in the bag. I take it out to the parking lot and have to throw it around to destroy it. These cockroaches freaking scatter like marbles on a floor. I'm dancing around the parking lot on my tiptoes to avoid the flood. It was awful. Second story. One of my regulars was a skunk farmer. I will say no more. ETA. Okay, skunk farmer. I worked at a store that bordered to states. In state A, where the store was located, we were in a nicer area. We were extremely close to state B's rural community. State B had its own store an hour away from ours, but we were only 15 minutes from the state line. It was easier for State B residents to come to us rather than go to their own store. Mr. Skunk Farmer raised skunks. I don't know why or how, but every time I'd see him, about twice a month, he'd show me some photos of the babies, or of their new pens, or of whatever shenanigans he was trying out on the farm. I remember he wore overalls that he had his wife embroider a skunk onto the front pocket or something. I worked at GameStop for 3.5 years. We all have seen some strange things, I promise you that. This happened all the time back when I worked at GameStop. We were told to shake systems and see if anything came out. Something came out about 1 out of 10 times. Roaches like to make homes in consoles. The most memorable time this happened, the guy had a bag of games as well. I gave the console a subtle little shake and roach dropped out and started crawling across the counter. I look at the roach, look at the guy, and tell him we can't take it. Dude sheepishly gives me a sorry, picks up the console, picks up the roach, and puts it back in his bag, and hurries out. I don't think he knew bugs were in there, so good on him, I guess. Thanks for taking your cockroach. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Don't forget to leave your stories in the comments below.